This is The Scoop for Friday.
I'm Juanita Hurtado Huérfano with the WMNF News headlines. Some Gulfport residents are concerned about a cooperation agreement the city signed with federal immigration authorities. But WMNF's Sean Kinan reports after a 2.5-hour workshop last night, City Council declined to further discuss the 287G agreement in a regular meeting.
23 residents of Gulfport or nearby cities shared their thoughts about immigration enforcement and the city's agreement to assist ICE. There were a range of opinions during public comment, but most people, like Lauren Stern, hoped the city council would reconsider cooperating with a federal agency that has a history of violating people's rights.
You know, this is where Nazi Germany slid, and this is what it looked like, where local jurisdictions, local municipalities just felt like it was small local issues. It was, our friendly local police officer, our neighbors, we love our neighbors, right? And then it escalates way beyond something that can be stopped by, any kind of local community.
Mayor Karen Love said Gulfport is safer than if it had not signed the 287G agreement. She suggested that ICE would be more likely to stay away if the city sticks with the deal and that Gulfport police have a much more humane touch than the feds. Gulfport's police chief said in the year since the previous chief signed the deal with ICE, the city has processed no migrants under the agreement. She says that if ICE did enforcement action in Gulfport, the city's police would assist, but they would remain under her command. For WMNF News, I'm Sean Kinan in Gulfport.
Two bills creating a process to designate groups as domestic terrorist organizations passed in the House yesterday. House Bill 1471 will establish a shift of domestic security and give them the power to designate certain organizations as domestic terrorist groups. The governor and cabinet will then review and approve the designations. Organizations will have 30 days to appeal the decision. Pamela Birchford, a legislative strategist for the NAACP, says appealing will be difficult, and civil rights groups could be targeted.
You would have the ability to object to that, but it's all after the fact. And after the stigmatization, after you have been shut down and banned from operating, your donors have been cut off. Anyone who gives support or promotes the organization could be punished.
Its partner bill, HB 1473, also requires the information used to decide if an organization should be designated as a domestic terrorist group to be exempted from public record. Amy Keith, a representative from Common Cause, said this bill could lead to violations to the First Amendment and the Florida Constitution.
Floridians have a constitutional right to public records, and organizations being accused of being domestic terrorists have a constitutional right to know the reasons they're being accused.
You can find more information at WMNF.org. According to the AIDS Healthcare Foundation, about 12,000 Floridians could lose access to HIV and AIDS medication come Sunday. WMNF's Chris Young reports it comes from an emergency ruling from the Florida Department of Health that advocates are calling a death warrant for HIV patients.
Starting Sunday, the state will cut its subsidies for the AIDS Drug Assistance Program. Due to the Florida DOH's emergency order, financial help will only be available to people at or below 130% of the federal poverty level. Before the order, it was available for those at or below 400%. The AIDS Healthcare Foundation filed an injunction against the order Thursday. At a press conference Wednesday, AHF Director of Advocacy, Legislative Affairs, and Community Engagement Esteban Wood called the state's move reckless.
What we're seeing as a result of the department's reckless actions is patients full of anxiety and fear, patients who are stockpiling medications, who are rationing life-saving medications.
AHF President Michael Weinstein warned that a lack of medication could put HIV and AIDS patients at risk.
If this continues and if they make this permanent, then they will die. This is a matter of life and death.
The emergency ruling also limits coverage for a popular pill used to treat HIV called Biktarvy. Chris Young, WMNF News.
Today it will be cloudy and warm in the high 70s. Tonight it will be cloudy with chances of showers and thunderstorms with lows in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, it will be sunny near in the high 70s. I'm Juanita Hurtado Huérfano with the WMNF News headlines.
This is The Scoop, recorded at WMNF Tampa.